I was recently on Ramsey Blankenship's podcast called Guerrilla State Investing, and he asked me what is the number one biggest mistake overall that I see from investors. And you're gonna wanna see this one. It's gonna annoy you, but it's the truth and you're gonna wanna see it. Take a listen. Let's go!
What's the biggest mistake buyers are making right now?
So in real estate, I think the human mind that is an investor, it's inherent that we always are trying to make an offer that is just enough to win the deal. It's like what I call the garage sale mentality. You walk into a garage sale, you see a widget, it's got $1 marked on it, and you go to the guy and you're like, so would you take 90 cents? Would you take 92 cents? But in multifamily, which I said, which is the hottest asset class in the world, period, not just because it's 2022, but just period, and will be into the future. In multifamily, there's a guy behind you. There's 9 guys behind you at that garage sale who are willing to just come in there at $1, $2, $1.10 because it works in their pro forma. And so the number one mistake I see is you need to pay attention to what the most is you could possibly pay. So what I mean by that is when you're working your pro forma at night and you're reviewing this asset and you're in charge of the financials or making the offer for your team, and you're looking at an $8 million asset and your pro forma says you can pay $8.4 million and the guidance was $8 million, and you think maybe because of broker intelligence and giving you some possible insight that you might be able to win this at 8.1 or 8.2, but your pro forma is telling you 8.4, I'm telling you to pay the 8.4. If the 8.4 meets your IRR, gives you the cash on cash, you don't know, nor does the broker know, what those best and final offers are going to be. So when the best and finals come in, most offerers are waiting until that last 30 minutes to turn in their offers because they don't want the broker shopping their deals to others. And so the broker can only tell you at this point right now what they think could win it. But if you turn in 8.25 because you're just trying to pay enough, there ain't no accolades for second place in this game. Someone else is going to pay what it takes. And when you lose the deal, that other guy is going to make the profit in 5 years and you don't get jack. Nobody's going to come up to Ramsey and be like, Ramsey, man, such a good job, man. Second place. That was really good among those 15 offers. You did a great job. Here's $1 million. It's never going to happen. You only get one chance. And so don't worry about what the competition's offering. Don't think about what you think the seller will take. Only submit the max. The best players in this game, Ramsey, and I've watched these guys for 20 years. It's who I wrote the freaking book about. The best guys in the world, all they do is hit base hits. Base hits, base hits, base hits. They're not trying to have a 25 or 30% IRR on every single deal. They're just trying to get those base hits because the bigger you get, the more units you own, the bigger the size you get, the more you can push people around. Because when you submit an offer and I as the broker can say, hey, Mr. Seller, Ramsey owns 6,000 units in 4 different states and 800 of those units are down the road from your subject property, that guy is who we're first looking at, assuming he brings in the right price and terms.
So I do want to tell my listeners, I know what you're thinking right off the bat. Here comes a broker telling me to pay the most possible.
Mm-hmm.
Read his book though, because it makes logical sense. If you're not doing deals, it's likely because you're following the first mentality, which is I want to get the most out of it. Who doesn't? Everybody does. It's a lot better to get some profit out of a deal than it is to get no deals with no profit because you're just going to wheels and stagnate. We did this for 6 to 8 months. And I tell every syndicator, I tell them, look, from the day you say I'm doing this, like you're committed, you're about 6 to 8 months out from being involved in your first deal, not being the sponsor or the running. You're about 6 to 8 months from being involved in your first deal. And being involved in your first deal usually means you're just a small spoke in the entire wheel of the group, the general partnership. You bring some sort of advantage to that team. What we were doing is we were trying to be the sponsor. We were trying to be the underwriters and blah, blah, blah. And we went out, reached out and talked to Beau. This is what our criteria is, which is good. You do want to have your criteria. But what we didn't understand was we wanted to get the best. We wanted to get the most profit. We got no deals. How much can you profit off of no deals? Now, you don't want to be cavalier about it and just be like, oh, we're going to spend the money just to spend the money. But you do have to balance what's in it for you, what's in in it for the seller. And if it's a happy relationship where they can see their profits and you can see your profits, then you're likely to, if you go in with that mentality, likely to actually close deals. And I'm not going to lie, when I first watched a couple of your videos, I was like, this dude just wants us to pay top dollar. Who doesn't want us to pay top dollar? He's representing a seller. But it's true. Like once we finally started, look, we're going to pay it because we understand the market. We understand the income. We're paying more, but we're getting something. We started closing deals. And here we are. So I appreciate that. And it is true, man. It's
hard to swallow. I don't like it. I mean, I'm an investor in different asset classes because I can't invest in apartments. And I don't like it, but it's what I have to do. Because for me, if the end goal is to accumulate wealth for my family, to be able to do the hobbies I want, to have the time I want, all those things that we're actually doing this for, I'm just killing myself by trying to wait for home runs. It's too competitive a business. And if you were the guy who just waits around to hit a home run, you're going to get one. It's just going to be one every couple of years. Meanwhile, the heaviest hitters, the most elite investors in the world, are doing 8 and 10 deals, base hits a year. And they're crushing you because the bigger and better they are, the more sexy they are to brokers and sellers.
Yeah, I mean, and 4 base hits equals a score, right? Equals
great.
1 home run. I don't know if that.
Well, and it's a compounding thing. It's not just being bigger and better. It's the efficiencies of management, of access to vendors at better prices. It's being noticed more. It's more marketing power on social media, especially if you're investor driven. There's a lot of compounding that happens. And especially once you get the law of Mo or law of momentum working for you, then it really starts compounding. Once the world starts noticing, God, this Ramsey guy, man, like he's just left and right. He's doing all these things. Now that's when the opportunities start coming to you. The brokers are calling you. Investors are calling you to do deals with because they see you all over the place. And then it really starts taking off.